Hey guys, it's the Tominator, and finally, I'm going to give my take on the open bodybuilding from the 2020 Arnold Classic. I was waiting for better footage to come out to make a more accurate analysis because, let's be honest, that live stream was garbage. Once again, it was pretty poor quality and way too dark. It seemed to be the same incompetent film crew that did the Olympia, where they're constantly shooting from infuriating side angles and zooming in pointlessly. So, yeah, no way in hell I'm going to rely on that. But unfortunately, I still haven't been able to track down any good footage of the finals. It's pretty baffling, really. It's the second biggest competition of the year, and none of the major networks have anything from the final comparisons. And they were all there. You can find the award ceremony and posing routines on muscular development, for example, but nothing for the top three call out. Very frustrating. So, anyway, I won't be talking about that here. This video will be focused strictly on the prejudging. But that's alright, apparently, because according to the scorecard, nothing much changed from prejudging to the night show. As you can see, they still had Bonac winning unanimously from start to finish, which is a little surprising considering that Dexter was really pushing him there in the finals. But as it turns out, first place was never in doubt. The real battle was for second place, with Dex barely edging out Big Ramy by a single point. That was a bit surprising, as many people had Dexter beating Bonac last night and even winning the entire show. There's no denying that the Blade came back with a vengeance. He was laughing after the show about pigging out on Chinese food and fried chicken before the finals. And holy crap, if that's true, did it ever work for him? All that sodium and extra calories really seemed to fill him out because he looked like 10 pounds bigger at the night show compared to earlier that day. I thought he was a little flat at prejudging. He was clearly no higher than third at that point, in the eyes of the judges too, based on their positions on the stage. So there was just too much ground for him to make up. Honestly, I would have still had Ramy in front of Dexter. Even though he was a bit off, it wasn't as terrible as the live stream footage might have you believe. William Bonac, on the other hand, brought it. He was sharp as a tack and full. This was a much improved version over what we saw at the Olympia, and after watching the prejudging, I felt like he absolutely slammed the door on these guys. But then he kinda cracked it open again at the finals. But enough babbling, let's go through the poses and really break it down. So in this front double biceps, this is a tough call. If we're going by conditioning, it's William. He has the most polish. But then again, he's giving up a ton of size, especially standing in between these two giants. Kuclo has a nice outline, but he's just too smooth. Dexter has good separation as always, though his midsection could be a little tighter. It seems to be protruding a bit, plus that asymmetry through the arms is back with the left tricep and bicep looking significantly smaller than the right. I'd actually give this shot to Big Ramy. Yes, his conditioning might not be spot on, but he's showing more detail than Kuclo at least. And you can see good separation in his biceps, plus his midsection is reasonably trim for a man of his size. Those quads are so gargantuan they almost look tumorous and kind of throw off the whole flow of his physique. But hey, this is men's open, not classic physique, so I don't mind the freak factor. The front lat spread also goes to Ramy. This one's not debatable, as he's the widest guy in the lineup and his V-taper looks superb here. His quads are also showing better separation now too. Kuclo looks decent, he's also quite wide and carries a ton of size on his large frame. Many people seem kinda mystified or just plain pissed that Kuclo continues to receive such high placings, but I didn't find it shocking at all based on what I saw yesterday. This was probably his best package to date, and his combination of mass, width, and vascular conditioning really enables him to fare well in call-out lines. Steve is one of those guys who doesn't look nearly as impressive on his own as when he's standing next to others. But anyway, neither Dexter nor Bonac are structurally suited for this one. They're both too narrow across the shoulders, so William's superior roundness and detail isn't going to be enough this time. Onto the side chest, and this is another close one. I thought William fared better based on the live stream, but this angle doesn't seem to be doing him any favors. Big Ramy looks great. His lower body's the best in the shot, but I'm just not seeing enough sharpness when we go upstairs. There's no pec striations at all. You give him that, and he probably wins this easily. As it is, though, it's pretty much too close to call. Dexter probably looks the most consistent from head to toe, but like I said, the angle's slightly off for Bonac, which makes him appear thinner than he really was. I think I had him winning this one while watching live, but his chest looks too small here. Yeah, I'd probably give it to Dexter or maybe Ramy. Like I said, it's too close to call. When they turn around, though, this is where William really cemented himself as the front runner. He takes the back double in convincing fashion. He might be getting outsized, but he's got the most detail and the best conditioning from the rear. The glutes are striated, the hamstrings are in, the back is thick and deeply separated, and those lats are ridiculous. They seem to insert right down into his posing trunks. Ramy might be dwarfing him, but he's a little off, and you can tell. The upper back and shoulders look amazing, but then he's got those folds of skin in the lower lat region. The glutes aren't nearly up to par, and he looks soft through the whole lower body. He was clearly holding a film of water. Kuclo looks sharper than him downstairs, but Steve has the weakest back of this group, so I'd have him in last. Dexter looks good too. He's sharper than Ramy, but not as sharp as Bonac. I might even give Ramy the nod over Dex here for all the extra mass. Rear lat spread goes to Bonac. Again, the angle's off, so it's a bit misleading, but his back is just too dense and meaty for the rest of them. Big Ramy inexplicably appears to have forgotten how to hit the lat spread. He just wasn't opening up properly. I wonder if he was cramping or was he deliberately trying to retract his scapula to show more detail down the middle? If that was the case, it backfired big time because he looks weak and ineffectual in this one. He should be totally dominating these guys with his width, but even Bonac looks wider than him here. He's probably still beating Kuclo though because Steve's never had a very strong back. This one's a pretty easy call in my opinion, and it goes William 1, Dexter 2, Ramy 3, Kuclo 4. Side tricep. I'd also give the nod to William. I love his execution here. It's good to see him going back to the old way he used to hit it around 2017, where he leans back a bit more. I just think it's very aesthetic looking, and the trailing calf is a nice bonus. This is also a strong one for Steve, who's got a very beefy lateral triceps head, and coupled with his massive delts and upper body width, he really pulls it off well. Ramy and Dexter both look kinda awkward in this one. Ramy looks like he's struggling to hold it, and Dexter doesn't do himself any favors by turning to the front and putting more attention onto that faded midsection. So here I'd go William, Kuclo, Ramy, then Dexter. Okay, and the camera zooms in too much, so we don't get to see all four of them hit the ab and the thigh and most muscular, so I'm gonna use a different source for these last two poses. This was actually filmed by Milos Sarchev, who was in the audience, or at least it was uploaded to his YouTube channel. And it's a cool angle because it's lower down and probably closer to what the judges would be seeing. The quality just wasn't quite as high, and it's a little too oversaturated, which is why I still used that first clip. But anyway, when it comes to the ab and thigh, none of them look that great here, if we're being honest. This ain't classic physique, that's for sure. But if I have to pick, it'd probably be Big Ramy. His quads are easily the best, if a bit too overpowered, and he's got some decent definition through his abs when he really flexes hard. Kuclo would be second, but both William and Dexter suffer through the midsection. William does have good obliques, I'll give him that, but the abs themselves aren't very good, and his quads are definitely down from last year. And like we just saw in the side triceps, Dexter's abs are pretty faded. The most muscular, on the other hand, is a good shot for all of them. Kuclo looks beastly in the hands-on hip with those cannonball delts. Bonac looks thick as hell in the hands clasp. Ramy's still transitioning, but we'll see him in a moment. And Dexter also looks great in the hands clasp. Oddly enough, he's showing more abdominal definition here than he was in the actual ab and thigh. Still, I'd give the edge to Bonac because even though Dex is a little better structurally, Bonac's arms are fuller and rounder, and he just saturates the pose so well. In the crab, Steve crushes it size-wise, but between Bonac and Dexter, again I prefer Bonac because his arms are bigger and the chest is thicker. With Dexter, the pose is too much traps and not enough pop through the arms and delts. Here's a final look with Ramy now doing the hands-on hip and knocking it out of the park. If his midsection and quads were just a tad bit sharper, this would be absolutely on the money. But he's so monstrous, it's hard to deny him the win in a pose called the most muscular. Still, there's an argument to be made for Bonac, who again is out muscling Dexter here in this one. Okay, guys, so that's a wrap. As you can see, after a somewhat slow start, William finished strong. And given that he was the most complete and conditioned bodybuilder in this call-out, it's no surprise that the judges had him firmly in the lead. If more footage becomes available, I'll try to make another video on the rematch from the finals, and I'll definitely be making at least one more vid to cover some of the other names we didn't get to see here, like Sergio Oliva Jr., Cedric, Akeem, and Patrick Moore. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Until next time, this has been the Tominator signing off, and I'll be back.